Don't mind that. Okay. Hello. Welcome, one and all. Gather around, children. I have quite a story to tell you. Not really. I'm mainly going to be ranting about something I enjoy, which I dub artsy games. Now, to me, these are games with unique art styles and somewhat an absence of story. Sorry, my eye is very itchy right now. I don't know if it's allergies or what. Uh, but basically, an absence of story. A primary example for me is Journey, frankly. Journey is quite. The open or levels, I guess you could call them, that you're allowed to traverse is very beautiful, and the soundtrack really puts in the atmosphere. But the story is not outright explained to you, or it is not in your face. There is hieroglyphs and things like Easter eggs, and that's one method that these games often explain why you're in the world, why the world the way it is, why the world is in the state that it's in, I should say. Sometimes, because some of them feel post-apocalyptic in some ways, and some there's just an absence of like I don't know, human life maybe, or like life that's similar to you. Um, Another great example is Gris. Gris is a game that is a 2D platformer puzzle solver. This is also a type of style of game I enjoy, despite the fact me not being very intelligent of, or maybe not, what is the word? Inept, I guess. Like, I'm not very good at recognizing how to solve the puzzle immediately. I can get it eventually, however. I'm not that dumb, you know? Uh, but Gris is honestly, I would say, a very good game. The art style is more of a watercolor sort of feel. I have not played through the entire thing, which I really am shameful of myself, to be honest with you. I really got to finish that game because oh, the soundtrack in that game is also splendid. Another game that I put under this, and again, by the way, an artsy game, I'm pretty sure is not an actual term for games. I don't think so anyway. I just that's what I use to call them when I'm discussing this with other people. Another game is Eternal Hope, which is another 2D platformer side scroller kind of thing, or puzzles as well. That does have a story that's more straightforward, and you can kind of tell what's going on. I would say Eternal Hope kind of reminds me of Oni and the Blind Forest in a way. You can kind of get the story, and it's a little bit more explained or in your face, I would say. Not really in your face. Um, However, that Eternal Hope does have a very good ending, I would say. A very like it's just a good ending, honestly. I'm not going to spoil it or do anything because the game came out a while ago, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone that wants to play it. Other games include Limbo and Inside. I'm going to include these two together because they're made by the same developers. I absolutely love both of these games. I have not completed Limbo. I completed Inside, and Inside was absolutely incredible. It's also another sort of, it's a 3D sort of like, almost like Little Nightmares in a sense, except like Little Nightmares, except they have different tones and stuff. But it also, it's another puzzle platformer. There's a lot more puzzles in that, and honestly, the ending is absolutely incredible. I have many questions about the ending, and honestly, I think that's what I like about these games. They're also most of them are indie games for small with a smaller developer as well, as I noticed, which I enjoy that more anyway. I enjoy honestly, good indie games are just great because it's just a game, you know. It's just a chill game, unless it's not trying to be a chill game, but you know. But yeah, the ending. I don't know. I like when a game makes you ask questions at the end of the game, and you sort of might have to go on YouTube, You might have to go on Google to find context as to why. Another game is no, I believe it's called. It's OM. I can't think right now. It's OMNO. And I completed that game on a stream around these parts. And I had many questions, mostly because I believe most of the lore and the reason you were in the world and why you had zippy powers and cum powers? Yeah, cum powers, I guess. Like you basically have to find stuff for it. Cum power. God damn it. What am I in anymore? But honestly, all of these games have in common for me is most of the time it is a gorgeous visual style that sucks me in and really gets me to play it, to be honest. And again, most of the time the story is absent, or the story is very straightforward. For instance, in Journey, if we go back to Journey, is simply put the entire goal of the game is sorry for the spazzing. It is to get to the top of a mountain. It's just to get to the top of a mountain, and that's the entire point of the game. There's not like I don't know. I like how simplistic that is, though. That might just be me, to be honest with you. And in Gris, like, I don't know. In Gris, it's the story. I have not completed it, so I don't really know what the point of the story is. From what I got so far, is that you were going around the world, sort of getting color back to the places that no longer had color, and which was very complemented by the watercolor art style, of course. Or, yeah, the watercolor sort of paintish art style of that game. Inside is probably less, like, straightforward. The goal of the game is to get out of the place you're trapped, I believe. So is Limbo. You're basically trying to, like, get someplace that's safe, or a safe haven, I would assume. Eternal Hope, the goal of the game is to rescue someone. Oh, my fucking eye, dude. My eye's been bothering me this entire video. But it's to rescue someone. But, like, again, these objectives are very one note, I would say. It's not like rescue someone, then kill the person who took them, or whatever. It's really just rescue them. What I also like about most of these games is that you're not given, like, a weapon, or you're not given a way to fight back. You simply have to run. You have to run and use puzzles to avoid them. A great example is Little Nightmares 1. Little Nightmares 1, you are not given any weapon to defend yourself. Obviously, that's not the case in Little Nightmares 2. However, in Little Nightmares 1, you simply have to avoid and run, which I personally enjoyed, honestly. I kind of like that more. Obviously, in Little Nightmares, it gives the situation tension all the time. Like, there's no... My palms are sweating, my heart is going, which I think that's good. Just maybe take a break and drink some water there, kiddo, you know? I don't know. Little Nightmares, I would say, is maybe not part of this category of games, mostly because I feel like Little Nightmares is more popular, and the more popular the game is, at least in my opinion, the more it, like, does not fit in this, like, list I have in my head. All of these games I really enjoy, and honestly, I would say this is probably my favorite genre of games. So to not put it in a made-up term, simply indie games, less story-driven, more maybe exploration in some games, but more art styles, sometimes cutesy art styles and such. One exception to this rule is One Shot. One Shot is more of I would say, like an Undertale kind of game with a pixelated down bird's eye view of the camera looking at the character, which I have not completed, but in that game the story is very rich and there's multiple endings and stuff. Speaking of Undertale, I have not played Undertale, and I should probably get around to doing that. I will, for the last little bit of this video, I will sort of ask the question that are video games considered art in a way? And I consider them art, personally. I also consider them one of the most fascinating art medias because it's interactive art. It's not a painting that you can just stare at. It's a painting that you can move the character around, and while obviously using a controller and such things. So I think that's probably that lends video games one of the most unique experiences out there, and that's personally why I like playing video games so much, and that's probably why I have an addiction to them. But yeah, I would consider them art. I wouldn't not consider like Call of Duty or Battlefield or games like that art, because that's not the intention. But games like Gris and Journey I would consider, because that's more like the visuals and the art style are more the focus driven of the game rather than the characters or story or gameplay or multiplayer assets. So I don't know if I'm necessarily correct. That's not the point of this video. I'm kind of just stating and rambling my opinions about artsy games in general and the fact that I adore them. And anytime, and my wish list on Steam is full of them, let me tell you. But with that being said, I do not believe I missed anything to talk about. I'm purely going off of my good old brain smooth, big brain action over here. But I don't know. I hope this was entertaining mildly. And I hope, and I'm doing this setup because my VR headset is out of commission at the moment. But I will be trying to get that fixed soon-ish. I don't know. I have to do a lot of experimentation, which I'm not looking forward to because experimentation sucks. But to each their own. But I hope this was mildly entertaining. Sorry that this was incohesive and rambling as all fuck, but I will see you all in Tartarus. Okay? Okay. Bye. Where's the button? There it is. Bye.